Welcome to the Expert in You podcast, the show for professional entrepreneurs, experts, authors, speakers, coaches, and consultants who are ready to elevate their business, expand their influence, and boost their bank accounts. Join us as we dive deep with industry-leading experts who share their top strategies, invaluable insights, practical tips, and personal experiences to help you achieve extraordinary growth and success. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills, stay ahead of the curve, or find that competitive edge, this podcast is your ultimate resource for unlocking your full potential. So tune in, get inspired, grab your coffee, and let's unlock the expert in you. Welcome to Expert in You, the podcast where elite entrepreneurs and business experts share powerful insights and strategies to elevate your business and life. I'm your host, Ann Carden, and I'm thrilled to have you here. And I'm really excited for my guest today. I have Christopher Filipiak on my show, and he is doing some incredible work with large corporations, large enterprises. And I'm really excited to talk to him because I know that this is something that a lot of people that are listening to the show want to break into. They want to get into these larger enterprises, and he is really a sales expert. All right, Christopher. So a lot of people really want to get into working with enterprises and those larger companies. How did you really get into that for yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So originally from Detroit, Michigan, or just outside of Detroit, and that's the Motor City. And so I fell in love with cars, and I was also really good at math. So I decided to be an engineer, study engineering, and work for Ford Motor Company and Visteon, building F-150s and Mustangs for several years. But I always wanted to be with where the people and the money were. And I knew the path to success, or at least what I was told was the path to success, was to go back to school and get my MBA. So I did that. And after business school, I ended up working for a $40 million marketing, consulting, data, technology consulting firm selling into Fortune 500. So I really had that corporate experience with, and then I had the experience of doing B2B sales at a really high level, really successfully as a W-2 consultant. And so I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So in 2017, I ended up starting my own firm, kind of help still working with revenue and small businesses, which started, there were kind of three phases of my business. And this might be interesting to your audience. The first thing I did is I recognized that I needed to have clients and revenue quickly. So I was like, look, I'm just going to call up all the CEOs that I knew and say, hey, I think I may be able to help you.
Yeah, that's actually a great way for people to get their first clients is, the people that they worked for or are already in their network. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still the fastest way to revenue. Like when I work with my clients, I'm like, look, the money is with the people, and you just need to call them up and talk to them and create conversations and see how you can help them. So I did, my first offer was what I call business development as a service. I was really doing kind of some fractional sales work for the companies. And what that enabled me to do is really build up my own systems and expertise around sales and understanding what was required to make sales. That led me to helping my clients build out their sales systems and working with coaching their teams and understanding how much lack of structure and clarity there was within those businesses. Like they didn't have to be at like Ford Motor Company level, but they definitely wanted to be, improved. And they ended up struggling a lot with sales and revenue, consistent revenue growth, because of the way that their businesses were set up. So from there, I did start doing mindset. And then around 2021, towards, when we were kind of recovering from COVID, I ended up doing a big market research study and working for a larger firm. And that kind of led me to the insight that CEOs were the best positioned person to drive revenue in their business with or without a sales team. And I wrapped my business around supporting CEOs to be successful with their own sales work. And I think the two things that, as an entrepreneur, as a founder, as someone who's been in business for 8 years now and continued to grow and succeed and change, is just constant sales activity or marketing research, just constantly reaching out to the market and talking to people, willingness to continue to refine and change my offer and how I'm serving clients, I think has been, why I've been as successful as I have been and continue to have a business that provides for me and my family and continues to grow and change the lives of my clients. And I think that's you've been in business a long time and helped a lot of clients. And no doubt you've seen many of your peers and competitors and friends who've started businesses go out of business. Yes. And it's been the same for me. And you can look at the statistics on business failure rate. It's super grim. And I think that happens because there's not a consistent willingness to talk to people and learn from them. So
that is gold. I mean, the fact that you talked about that is absolute gold. We have to be consistently looking at the market and finding out what is shifting and what's going on. And so many people are afraid to do that. And the other thing I see too, Christopher, is when you've been in business for so long, your business evolves, you evolve, right? Everything that you learn. But a lot of people are afraid to step into that next level of themselves. They're afraid to change their brand. They're afraid to change their message. They're afraid to change their offers, even change their target audience, because they've always kind of done it this way. And I always say the strategies and everything that you started out with will not be the thing that gets you to the next level. So if you're not prepared or willing to make those shifts or those changes, you're going to stay stuck, probably not far off from where you are. Do you agree with that? Have you found that to be true in your business as well?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, and that the market's always changing.
Always.
Right. And you want to be constantly changing, or certainly like I want to be constantly changing, right? Because I have a desire to get better and connect more with the truth of who I am and share more of who I am and who my business is with my clients and continue to change and grow. I think that's what we're here to do. I think that's part of our purpose as humans.
Yeah. So with your business and as it's evolved, how do you structure your pricing when you are working with clients? Is it value-based pricing? Do you have set pricing? I always love for people to see what other people are doing inside of their business.
Yeah, I think, pricing is something I've worked on a lot in my business. It's something that I help my clients with. And you're right, like you want to be pricing based on value. There's different ways to price. You can price on value. You can price based on what's being charged in the market. You can do cost plus pricing, right? There's all different pricing methodologies, but I think the best way to do pricing is to actually decide what you want to charge and charge that. Like, just like think of it in your head and just trust.
Really.
Yeah, to just trust yourself and go like, hey, this is what I think my value is, and charge based on that. And as you learn more and you build up your self-worth and you understand more of your value or your role with your clients, you'll start to charge more for that. So with my pricing, I started my business by doing a retainer plus commission, because I started I started with business development as a service, but then I moved into looking at the value of what I provide to my clients. Like I understand how much revenue we can create in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And I also understand what it actually costs. Like if you hire and fire a salesperson and how expensive that actually.
So you can build all of that into
So I
your
can
price.
build all that.
Yes.
I'm like, okay,
Smart.
I'm like, this is how much money I need to make based on the life I want to live. This is how much I want to work. Okay.
Right.
The value that I create for my clients. And this is kind of the downside impact if it doesn't work out for my clients with their current strategies. And I kind of take all that, put that together and do a package. Right? Like you kind of talked about that in your opportunity podcast you just did, where you're like, look, like the opportunities are to package up and sell at a higher level.
Oh, did you watch that? Oh, thank you.
It was excellent.
Oh, thanks.
And sell at a higher level. And I think that's how I do my pricing. So
have you done that $1 million deal yet?
I've done $1 million deals before.
You have. That's so exciting. I love when people get to bring in a client and get paid $1 million for what they're doing. So
yes,
that's super cool.
Yeah.
So what does the next level look for you? Or let me back up. How are you getting your clients right now? I know people are going to want to know, what are you doing, Christopher, with clients?
So the money you want is with other people. And I know that sounds like obvious, but you forget that because you'll end up working on your book or your marketing plan or adjusting something in your business instead of actually going out and creating conversations with other people. So like my number one priority as the owner of this business is to drive the growth of revenue and profit. Right. That's the same thing that I do with my clients. And so the way to do that is I have to create conversations with other people every single day. And then I have to have conversations. So your question is, how do I actually, grow my business? Well, I create conversations with people. And the way I think of that is I think there are marketing, I just call them marketing plays that you can run to create those conversations. In my business, in the consulting world in particular, or the expert space or staffing and recruiting businesses, executive search agencies, those businesses are driven based on relationship and referral, but you have to be able to create new people to relationship nurture. So I do cold outreach every day. I do that over the phone. I do that over email. I do that over LinkedIn.
And what would give us a little bit of insight? What would be some outreach that you would do?
So I'll reach out like on LinkedIn and say something like, your leadership and impact as a CEO inspired me to reach out and connect. Okay. And I'll share a little bit about and say, hey, are you open to connecting and starting a conversation? I try to be direct and be results driven.
Right. Not fluffy and beating around the bush. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like really direct. And people want industry specific results and industry specific messaging. So messaging is something I really work almost every day. And I was working on it this morning on refining who my people are and what my message is to them. And I test that and I refine that all the time. But I know that I'm very good at what I do and that I can help my clients and I know the type of results. So I just am plain in my language.
Yeah.
But I'm also try to be emotional, right? Because like humans, we resonate with our emotions. So I'll reach out on the phone. Like I did a bunch of cold calls today. I reach out on LinkedIn. I send some emails. So that generates new people. And then I'll have like an introductory conversation like the one that I just had. And then that will lead to a sales conversation and people will buy from me. So that's like one marketing play that I'll run.
Can I ask you something? Can I interrupt you for a second? Ask you something about that. So one of the things I hear from a lot of people is they find it really hard to reach CEOs they can get them to connect, but a lot of times they might have somebody running their account, or they have somebody running their emails, or they're not opening all of their emails. So is there something, a kind of a secret sauce that you have figured out that gets them to open your email, gets them to really respond to you? Because that is a hard thing for a lot of people, is actually getting that connection or that conversation with that person they want.
Well, it's interesting. Like you say, like the people you work hire someone else to do that work. Is that what you said?
Well, a lot of people have trouble when they are doing that kind of outreach or email. They have trouble doing that. Now, you're doing that work yourself. I always say when you're working at a higher level, you have to be doing a lot of things yourself.
Yeah.
But how are you getting them? So let's say an email, for example. How do you get a CEO to actually open that email when they probably just get flooded and bombarded with emails from, so many people, right?
So the effectiveness of what you're doing comes down to accurately targeting the right people, making that they're your people, they're my people, right? It comes down to messaging that's relevant, right? It comes down to the energy of the person doing the work and the mindset of the person that's doing the work. So if you have the right person with a relevant message and your energy, meaning your mindset, is confident, right? Then those people are going to respond to you. The other thing is time, like timing is in there too, right? So there is a timing component to that. And you want to look at the channel. So when I reach out to people, I reach out to people through multiple different channels, because I don't actually know where they are. And you want to go where they are. Like if you can go where your people are, that's going to help you resonate with them. What doesn't resonate is you picking a strategy and tactic you're not willing to do yourself, and just like high volume, irrelevant marketing plays. That's what doesn't work, right? Right.
It doesn't work with higher level clients anyway. And that's the thing that I tell people all the time. You have to use completely different strategies and tactics with high level clients. Hi, friend. I have an exciting announcement. I hope you're enjoying this episode of Expert in You podcast, but I have to ask you, have you checked out the latest issue of Expert in You magazine yet? It's jam-packed with rich content, powerful strategies, inspiring stories, and so much more to help you elevate your business and personal growth. Don't miss out. Go grab your digital copy now and join our community of experts making a difference every day. Go to expertinyoumagazine.com and check out your digital copy today. Transform your expertise into success with Expert in You magazine. It's not just a publication, it is a movement.
For sure. I get CEOs on the phone every day.
That's awesome.
Like, not a problem. But part of the thing is like, you'll start to have these mindsets where you're like, this doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and this doesn't work. Then you're building strategies and tactics from a mindset that's either from a place of fear or already pre-deciding it's not going to work. And then you create crap and bullshit that like doesn't work instead of doing something real. You know who does this really, like who does this well, and it's kind of a friend of mine in the sales world, is Dale Dupree. He goes by the Copy Warrior, but he does stuff that's like almost creates an experience for his clients. And that's what you want to be thinking. It's like, look, I need to do something that's real. And sometimes that means just being direct or honest or really putting yourself out there, because people want to talk to other people. Like, we're social creatures. What we don't want is some type of fabricated, like irrelevant messaging. right?
Yeah. Yeah. I always say, don't waste people's time. That's another thing that people don't a lot of coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs don't realize is when you're working with people at a much higher level, time is so valuable to them. They are not going to sit there and chit chat with you in Messenger. How's your, I mean, I believe you probably have found this too. They really appreciate a more direct approach than like a fluffy kind of beat around the bush. And then I want to turn that into a sale kind of approach. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. So like, you know, yeah, you just want to be clear. You want to understand what your value is and how you help people. And then basically show up with I call it like sales as an expression of love or sales as like a service to go, hey, like I'm showing up to see if this person wants help and then showing up to help them. Right?
Yeah.
And that's it. And being really direct about that, like saying something like, hey, I want to see if I can help you in your future endeavors, or I want to see if having structure and clarity around growing revenue and profit in your business would benefit you. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Super simple. Yeah. Like sometimes we just make it awfully hard and complex, right?
Yes, for sure.
Do you go to conferences and get in front of CEOs that way? Do you speak on stages? And what do you do to build your brand and kind of build your influence? Or is kind of everything just from your outreach and you don't spend a lot of time on those things?
Well, I do a monthly event that I call CEO Sanctuary. So I'd recommend that everyone sets up some type of monthly event. So I have direct outreach or cold outreach to new people. I do relationship nurturing. I do a monthly event, and then I do this, right?
What does your monthly event look like?
So I do it's funny. It's interesting that you asked, but when I talk to high level CEOs, I said, I did an interview to create my monthly event. And I said, the question was like, hey, what would inspire you to come to a monthly event? And they were all like, there's almost nothing that would effing cause me to come to an event. Right?
Now, are these online or offline?
I do mine online.
Online, okay.
But I'm probably going to do some in person. And it's interesting. People have been asking for in person with me, but they're like, I'm like, so what events do you do? And they're like, well, I just like to get together with other CEOs and drink beer and talk about our business problems and see if we can make a bigger impact in the community. So when I created an event, I wanted to create an event that was like basically that. I didn't want to teach. I didn't want to mastermind. I didn't want to like give anyone any homework. So I was like, how can we actually help these CEOs move forward in their life and business in real time with what's going on in the business? So I created a space where 2 hours every month we get together as a group of founders and CEOs, and everyone goes, hey, I'm working on dialing in my messaging, or I'm looking at hiring a salesperson, or I want to set up a podcast, and then we pull up the actual documents that they're using in their business or the actual things. And we pull them up in Google Docs and we actually work on them together. So everyone actually has like a tangible, like, oh, I want to write a chapter in my book. Cool. Let's pull it up. Let's write the chapter in your book today. Right. So we're actually do work together. And then we do a little bit of like nourishment and de-stress work in there. So it's like everyone leaves the event feeling better, actually having accomplished something like off their to-do list without any homework.
Very cool.
So that I do.
So how does that turn into business for you, Christopher?
So those people get to know me and get to experience me doing what I do best. And so as they get to know me and get to experience working with me, that's the other thing is I didn't want to like tell people how I work with them. I wanted to actually show them.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I love events. I love doing virtual events. Yeah.
And so from there, they'll be like, hey, I want to work with you. And then we'll set up a sales conversation.
Very cool. Yeah, I love that. That's so great. So what are your big goals? We've talked about a lot of things. Thank you, first of all, for being so open and letting us really see inside of your business and how you run things. That's so valuable for other entrepreneurs to be able to see those things. What is your next level in your business? What are you working towards?
I am working on creating a community of CEOs that want to roll together. Yeah. So like I already am really good at helping CEOs add revenue to their business, but I want to work more in creating like a broader community of CEOs that are actually creating lives together. That's kind of the vision in mind.
Very cool. How do you see that playing out? Like more of a mastermind kind of thing, or getting together a few times a year at a location, or how?
Yeah, I think it's just participating with each other more and more consistently. Like I love the idea.
Are these all men? I should have asked that too. Are these all
I have
men
female
and women?
clients. Yeah,
very cool.
Some of my best clients are female clients. So
yeah, I love this. I love it. Is anything else that you would like to share as we wrap things up?
No, I do, like I said, I do the monthly CEO Sanctuary event. It's a free workshop. And so if your audience or people who listen to this feel like that would be valuable, I encourage you to check that out. And then I just put together an article on why and what it means to be sales ready. Like what is a sales ready organization? A free assessment that I'm going to put out as part of that work. That's going to come out in the next week or so. So if any of you are looking for more clarity or structure around what it takes to increase and drive profitable growth and revenue, that's a really good first step to kind of create clarity.
Now, do you have a book, Chris?
I don't have a book.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you did, because I was going to share that. We'll share anything that you want in the show notes so that people can grab that. And how many people do you usually have in your event, in your CEO event?
We limit it to 10 people. There's usually between 5 and 10 people that show up.
And is there any kind of prerequisite or any kind of qualification process?
You're going to want to be a business owner or CEO. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing. This has been wonderful. And you gave such a gold away. I really appreciate it. And as any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I think if you're a CEO or business owner, it's really important that you develop a habit of making sales every day. And sometimes that's going to take some support in your corner to do that. But if you really want to grow and be successful in your business, that's the starting point.
100%. I agree with that. It's easy to get stuck in the weeds and not be working on the things that actually make your business grow and run. So I love that you brought that up. All right, everyone, I want to thank you for tuning in to Expert in You, where we spotlight bold entrepreneurs and powerful ideas that are shaping the future of business. This is your time. Let's make your brilliance impossible to ignore. God bless you all. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.
The content of this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Although I share strategies, ideas, and success stories based on real experiences, results are never guaranteed. Every business is unique, and outcomes depend on individual effort, market conditions, and many other factors. By listening, you agree that I and my guests are not responsible for your results or actions based on the content shared.
Thank you for tuning in today. If you're as excited as I am about scaling up your influence, business, and bank account, then I have just the thing for you. But first, make sure you subscribe to the show. Second, make sure you share it with someone you care about, because sharing is caring. And third, head on over to join me in my next free virtual exclusive workshop, where we'll explore proven strategies to boost your business and maximize your potential. Look, it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you're looking to take your business to the next level, my workshops are designed for you. So head on over to expertinyouworkshop.com to reserve your spot and get ready to transform your expertise into extraordinary success. I'm looking forward to seeing you there and helping you achieve incredible growth. Until next time, make sure you're always seeking the expert in you, and God bless. Have an amazing day.